Just when you think it couldn't get worse, it gets worse. And it's all because of the Liberals and Justin Trudeau. Now, it seems to be a pattern for the Liberals to accuse India of sabotaging their plane in an assassination attempt on the Prime Minister when his plane was grounded there for an extra 3 days due to mechanical failures, since it's an old as fuck plane. This just doesn't end. Trudeau is in New York and he's done a press conference, and we're going to take a look at everything that has been said, as well as Jagmeet Singh providing his 2 cents on CTV's platform. Guys, this isn't good. You're going to see a massive separation now between people who support Justin Trudeau's decision to sympathize for a Indian terrorist and people who don't. And it just, the divides continue in Canada. It never ends. Why can't we just have a normal day? Like, no one wears masks. No one mentions masks. Trudeau doesn't do a press conference. Canadian news is little to none. And how about like 30-degree weather? Like just nice weather, no bad news, nothing. Why can't we just have one day? That's all I want. Just one nice day. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps grow the channel. And as well as if you'd like a matching hat, you can find a link for that down in the description below. This hat right here, the Canadian Freedom baseball cap, is my favorite, as well as the Canadian Freedom hoodie in maroon, but you can select a different variety of colors. Let's take a look at the crazy allegations that the Trudeau cabinet is making now.
Sabotage has been ruled out in the technical issue in Canada's plane on his trip to India.
I'm not going to comment on that. There are obviously ongoing concerns. I'm also focused on replacing those planes because we've already made that step.
But you're not commenting on if there's any potential sabotage that left the plane on that runway.
I don't want to. I've got to run off to something, but I want to finish.
So they're going to spend billions of dollars fixing these planes or buying brand new planes, and that's, of course, coming at the taxpayers' expense. At least we know Pierre Poilievre will have a nice new plane when he inevitably wins. Justin Trudeau doubles down on conspiracy theories over Hardeep Singh. Do you think Trudeau is someone who should be taken seriously on the world stage, or do you think he is a global joke?
India has suspended visa services here in Canada. Are we going to reciprocate? Are you going to take some kind of action, tit-for-tat action in this?
We call upon the government of India to take seriously this matter and to work with us to shed full transparency and ensure accountability and justice in this matter. We are a country of the rule of law. We are going to continue to do the work necessary to keep Canadians safe and to uphold our values and the international rules-based order. That's our focus right now.
India has suspended.
What a little cockroach. Like, he can't even answer a question. You were asked if you're taking a tit-for-tat approach, and he says, we hope they cooperate. That is not at all what you should have said. You should have said, no, our intention is not to do tit-for-tat petty political warfare. We would like to have some sort of diplomatic agreement. Like, that's pretty... why I should be Prime Minister. Vote for Jasper Sunshine, because obviously he's way better at speaking than Justin Trudeau. So here's another clip. I can assure you the decision to share these allegations on the floor of the House of Commons Monday afternoon was not done lightly. As if, dude, Trudeau was waiting. He woke up extra early that morning. He made himself pancakes. Nay, he made his butlers probably make pancakes for him. And he was excited as all hell to share those allegations. Because... you saw with the Chinese interference and the threats of his Liberal caucus MP, Trudeau held on to that info for years without saying anything. But now these allegations, he just jumps right out of bed and says it. Nah, you were excited to say that, and this is some smoke and mirrors bullshit. And we're trying to see through you, Trudeau. We're trying to.
Prime Minister, since you made your statement in the House of Commons the other day, some of the reactions, some of the conversation's been about the quality of the evidence, how much Canada has. You said it was credible. Can I ask you to characterize it just a little bit further about how extensive it is, how solid it is? and whether you might ever share some of that with the public. So how extensive is this evidence?
I think it's extremely important that as a country with a strong and independent justice system, we allow those justice processes to unfold themselves with the utmost integrity. But I can assure you, the decision to share these allegations on the floor of the House of Commons Monday morning was not done lightly. It was done with, or Monday afternoon, was done with the utmost seriousness. Nous avons un système de justice rigoureux qui va suivre les étapes requises, mais je peux vous assurer que la décision de partager avec les Canadiens ces allégations extrêmement sérieuses lundi après-midi n'a pas été prise à la légère.
I mean, if I understand correctly, are you suggesting that the evidence was extensive? Is that what you're saying?
I'm repeating what I said on Monday afternoon, that there are credible allegations that we need to take extremely seriously as Canadians and indeed as a world.
You, as a world? What? Credible allegations that we need to take as a world? This guy was just asked if he had credible evidence, and he couldn't even simply answer that. I am so fed up with Justin Trudeau running the show, being the face for Canada on the global stage. Anybody could do better than him right now. Now, let's get into the real cockroach of the day, Jagmeet Singh being interviewed on Power Play CTV.
I want to move on to the news delivered by the Prime Minister Monday in the House of Commons that the government is in possession of credible intelligence that leads them to believe there's a link between the Indian government and the murder of Mr. Najjar back in June, a BC Sikh leader in Surrey. You have said that you wrote to the commissioner of the inquiry that's about to be launched or conducted into foreign interference to ask specifically that she retain under her purview an investigation into India as well as any other country, particularly China, that's been the subject of much discussion. Have you received a response to that?
I've not yet, but given how serious that revelation was and what that really means, and it's I think it's worth repeating, a Canadian citizen was killed on Canadian soil by a foreign government, and there's intelligence that links the foreign government, I should say. That is a very serious revelation, and one that really should cause us all to be deeply concerned about that incident, and also looking to ensure that we are doing everything possible to protect Canadians and investigate any and all interference that's happening. So given that really, I would say, outrageous and really serious scenario, I've said at this point it's very clear that India should be included expressly. The mandate did allow for other state actors or non-state actors to be investigated, but I wanted to expressly say the commissioner is independent and should remain independent, but we should now make it clear that that state actor mandate should include India.
So you want it explicit, basically, in the terms of reference?
Well, I just want it doesn't have to be in the terms of reference now. The terms of reference are broad enough to include it. I'm just encouraging the commissioner that given what we've heard, I think that her mandate should take her to specifically investigate India.
The Conservatives have asked for the government to make more evident the evidence that they have to lead them to the conclusion that they arrived at when they presented that statement to Canadians on Monday. Do you share that ask?
No. I mean, I think that the information should come out through the public inquiry. Information should come out in any judicial proceeding that happens in the way that it should in the normal course. I have top secret clearance. I've been able to receive a bit more information, and I think it's so serious that the goal should now be we focus on the investigation, ensuring that it's a thorough investigation, ensure that any legal proceedings go ahead and there's no barrier to those proceedings moving ahead, and that the public inquiry does its work. I'm concerned that the Conservatives took initially a position of solidarity and then seem to be backing away from that with their challenging of the evidence, and in addition, their silence in the Take Note debate yesterday, which was remarked by a lot of people. The House leader spoke for 5 minutes and no other Conservative spoke, and that is not something that we've ever seen happen in any other similar debate of that nature. Every party normally participates, shares their point of view, but the absence of Conservative voices was noticed. The silence was deafening, and to me it shows a lack of unity in something that everyone should be upset about, a Canadian citizen being killed in a way where a foreign government's implicated. That is deeply concerning.
You mentioned the clearance, the top secret clearance you have. So you received additional information after the Prime Minister delivered that statement on Monday?
The information that I received, all leaders were given a heads up before it was reported or it was shared in Parliament. In that briefing, I was able to receive a little bit broader because of the clearance that I have, that all leaders are allowed to ask for, and Poilievre specifically turned down, which I don't understand to this day why he wouldn't accept. Knowing more as Prime Minister, I hope to become Prime Minister.
All right. This is very, very, very annoying because I'm going to show you something right now that you will not see any politician ever mention. When you Google, is Hardeep Singh Nijjar a terrorist? You get this. In 2020, a statement by the Indian government accused him of being actively involved in operationalizing, networking, training, and financing KTF members. He has also been accused of running terrorist training camps in British Columbia for supporters ready to carry out attacks in India. So why is it that a quick Google search will show you that this may not have been the most outstanding candidate? Now, I still understand and I still completely empathize with a foreign government potentially, allegedly, infiltrating Canada, our security, and pulling something off. That in its own is suspicious that that's able to be pulled off, because it's kind of like some CIA shit that you see in the movies, right? Like White House Down or whatever the hell, where the United States goes in with all their Navy SEALs and Green Berets and stuff like that and can take out a bad guy, and then retreat, and it's all said and done. That just happened to us. Whether he's bad or not is almost irrelevant when you're talking about, this is the weird devil's advocate thing. And this is why it's so confusing, because there's so many sides to this coin, that a foreign government was able to pull this off and then it was successful. Whether they did it or not, I don't know how to stand on this, folks. I really don't, because in a previous video, in the video I posted earlier today about this, I said that this exact thing. It's not good that a foreign government was able to pull this off, whether it's morally or ethically correct. But I don't think that the way to go about this is for our fucking prime minister and our politicians to start accusing federal or foreign governments of doing this, because now it's creating a political war. And that's why you're seeing visas revoked from Canadians in India. That's why the consulate in India, or the Indian consulate in Vancouver, has upped their security. That's not good. And if you haven't noticed, there's a wild amount of Indians here in Canada that are now stuck between a rock and a hard place of having to, I'm assuming, pick a side on which one is correct. So it's very, very weird, the divide that Canadian politicians have created on its entire population.
Sure, I would want to know that information. As a prospective candidate to be prime minister, you'd think you'd want to have access to the information. So I don't know why he didn't do that.
Based on the information that that was made available to you, do you have any doubt that the intelligence is credible?
I trust the work that's being done by our security forces and our intelligence agencies, and the assessment of that intelligence will be done by the public inquiry that'll investigate or weigh what the intelligence, if it turns into evidence, and then the court proceeding will weigh the evidence. But the intelligence that's provided, I trust, and it is quite serious.
Let me ask you in layman's terms, based on what you've seen, the intelligence that has been made available to you, do you believe the government of India is behind the murder of Mr. Nijjar?
Well, I believe what the Prime Minister shared, and he shared that there is intelligence that links the government of India. That's going to be weighed. But really what that means is we have a scenario where the foreign government has really violated our sovereignty in a serious way. That's what the intelligence suggests, and that's something that I think we really need to take very seriously.
As far as how seriously we do take it, just a few weeks ago, we were still in free trade negotiations with India. India occupies a very strategic position for a number of countries in the West right now. Do you have a position on whether or not Canada should, once this is resolved one way or the other, continue free trade negotiations? Should Canada pursue a free trade deal with India?
Right now, the position has been to stop those discussions, and I think that's the right position. I absolutely support it. At this point, we cannot continue with discussions while this lingers. We'll have to see where things go. I would encourage India to cooperate, as was requested, cooperate and provide the information that's requested so that we can get to the bottom of this. But at this stage, stopping those negotiations is the right step.
Is there a stage at which you can see, given your knowledge and the things you've said in the House about the way in which you view the Indian government treating the Sikh population, particularly the Sikh separatist population in this country, is there a world in which you can see Canada pursuing a free trade agreement? Like, do you want one eventually?
What I hope is that we want to build a world where we trade with our allies that share our values, and those are values of the rule of law, democracies where people are free to critique governments, that are free to have a freedom of expression, and liberties that we think are very important in Canada should exist everywhere. And I hope that what we can do with our trade agreements is encourage and foster that type of world, and that we encourage countries to respect human rights and respect the rights of their citizens as well as rights of the citizens around the world. So
But
that's what I
you
hope.
said that the Indian government doesn't do that.
It doesn't, that's true.
So then, should Canada be pursuing in any event, at any course of time, any point in time, pardon me, a free trade agreement with India?
Right now, I think that the freeze is the right thing to do, and I think we've got to stop now. And then as more information comes forward, I think we can make that assessment.
But you wouldn't rule it out?
But what I would say is the goal right now should be, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's spend our time and focus on this really serious matter in front of us. And then the future, we'll have to make assessments based on what arises.
So that sounds to me like Canada is making a massive multi-trillion-dollar business deal that that shouldn't be based off of emotions, is now based off of emotions, because India has different views and different philosophies given where they're located versus where we are located, and their culture versus our culture. It doesn't really align the way it should, and therefore we might not have a trade deal going forward. This is some bullshit. This is, who the hell put these people in power? First of all, we need an election ASAP. Jagmeet Singh has an opportunity to redeem his reputation, what little there is left. And he should cut off the coalition, and they should do a snap election so that we can unfuck all of these things that Justin Trudeau has done to our country before it gets to a point where it's just so much worse. And it doesn't feel like it can get much worse, but then we're just proven that it does get worse every single day that we move forward. That's where we're going to end today's video. A little bit of doom and gloom, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about any of the topics that I covered, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.